following program on Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations.
Very good evening, and you're joining us on another episode on Business Best, and this is a platform where we showcase the best in the business, and we will be introducing to you to people who have excelled in their particular field in order to showcase their latest developments in their respective industry. Now today on the program we're going to talk about an industry where we have not touched on before, and before I tell you who he is, let me introduce you to Mustafa Abid, who is the founder and CEO of Ceylon Artisans. Thank you, Mustafa, for taking the time to join me on the show today.
Thank you so much for bringing me here.
Okay, so tell me, what is Ceylon Artisans? Give a small intro, because I'm pretty sure our viewers are inquisitive to know.
Right, okay. So basically, Ceylon Artisans is a fine jewelry company. So we mainly specialize in customized jewelry using the highest quality materials like 18 karat gold, rose gold, white gold, diamonds and sapphires. So that's the gist of what Ceylon Artisans does. But going deeper into it, Ceylon Artisans has always been about designs, unique designs, quality, mainly quality, and customer service. Because it's not all about a customer coming, purchasing jewelry from us and then going off. It's not that. Even after that, we keep the relationship with the customer. We always follow up with them, and if there is any issues on the jewelry, because they wear jewelries on a daily basis, so it can break, things can happen. So the main thing is the after sales service. So we make sure that the whole follow up is given, and all our jewelries goes on lifetime warranty. So we have to make sure that at any given point, if the customer needs us, we are there. So that's the main thing about Ceylon Artisans. Yeah.
All right. So when talking about this market, as we all know, Sri Lanka is very rich in this resource.
Yes.
And there are so many dealers who are in this industry as well. And you started this business in 2019.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what makes Ceylon Artisans so special and unique? Why would people want to come and buy jewelry from you all?
Right, okay. So like you said, yes, Sri Lanka is extremely rich with its resources, and so for example, not only gemstones, like we have spices, we have tea, lots of things which gets exported from Sri Lanka. So when I compare Sri Lanka from other countries, I honestly believe that we are quite a rich country, and in terms of economy also we can grow extremely well because of our exports. It's because of here and there are some issues, that's why we are unable to come up, but in the future, if we do our things right, definitely there's a high potential that we can, as a country, we can come up. Now in terms of Ceylon Artisans, so when we started in 2019, it was only me because that time I was just 24 years old, and obviously we didn't have that much of funding where we can put a showroom, put all the products, designs to display for the customers. So at that time, we just started with a co-working space, just took my laptop and started a brand. It's called Ceylon Artisans. And even the name came by, because before starting I was just reading some certain articles, and these artisans words kept on popping up, and I was very curious to keep Ceylon as a word, as one of my word in the branding. So then hence I just connected both together and put Ceylon Artisans into it. So yeah, so just took my laptop and started the whole brand. And previously I was working in a factory for 1.5 years, so few of my close people knew that I was in the jewelry industry. So when I left and when I started my own brand, certain people actually helped me out with the orders, and they trusted me, and they placed the first few orders which a company is required to have a kickstart. So at that time we fulfilled all the orders. They loved the quality. With the profits we kept on investing it, and the main thing about Ceylon Artisans is that we go extremely personalized. Basically, if a customer comes, they have accessible to me. They don't have to always speak to the employees. They can also, if they require, I'm always available to serve them. Because this is a very high-end product, high-end industry. So when they're spending so much of money, they want someone to deal with, who can take decisions, and who they can trust mainly. So throughout our 4 years of our journey in Ceylon Artisans, we tried our best to keep that trust. And if you see our reviews and meet our customers, they'll always tell you that whatever they have purchased, they're extremely satisfied. And we make sure that nothing is, if we say it's a natural stone, we don't put synthetic. We make sure it's natural, and all the necessary certifications and all are provided with our jewelry. And the main thing which sells Ceylon Artisans, it's lifetime warranty. Whenever you require us, we'll always be there with the jewelries you have purchased from us.
All right. So when we talk about these jewelry lines which are here in Sri Lanka, it's most of the time inherited by their previous generations. But in your case, I believe that you solely started this in 2019 and when you were 24 years old. So when you initially started this without any previous help, what were the challenges that you faced? Was it difficult for you to get into the industry?
Right. Okay. So when I started this company, I actually did not think about challenges, because at that specific time I was going to get married. So it was like, either I do it right now or I never do it, because after marriage, with the responsibilities and all, it's difficult to start something new, because then you have to feed your family and this, and at that time taking a risk is a big factor. So at that time, I decided, okay, let's just start this and see where it goes. I have nothing to lose, because fortunately my parents are from a middle class family, and they were providing me with the shelter, with the food, so I didn't have to worry about that part. So I was blessed in that way. And then when I started the company, it was all about starting something and making sure you do it consistently. So when we went online, at that time it was 2019. Yes, the first year went very smoothly. We got few orders and everything. So then what happened is that because of COVID, people thought, okay, the business are going down. But for me, it was the reverse effect. My business actually boomed, because at that time in Sri Lanka, all the high-end jewelers were not focusing on online game. They were not online. They had the presence, but they were not focusing much on it, and they were not pushing their products online. Whereas I had no choice other than going online. So I was quite focused on that, and made sure that my online game is quite strong. And at that moment, when COVID hit, everything went online. So suddenly my brand boomed. I got a lot of visibility on my brands, and the biggest visibility I got is from the Maldives market, because Maldivians have the tendency that they come to Sri Lanka to purchase their stuff, and because of the travel restrictions, they couldn't do that. And at that time, they were looking for something where it can be delivered to themselves. So at that specific moment, Ceylon Artisans was actually it was a turning point for us. And hence wise, challenges every businesses face, every single business face. But at that time, I had no time to think about that. It was like just start and see whatever challenges which came through. Just passed on and move on.
You could have basically got into any type of other industry, but
Right.
why specifically get into the jewelry?
Jewelry. Okay, so basically, when I finished my degree at Royal Institute College, at that time, I had no understanding about gold, about gemstones, about diamonds. But so I had a mentor who was a director of this specific jewelry factory. So I went to him and I was like, what should I do next? And then he was like, there's a job opportunity at this factory, which was about 20 kilometers away from my house. So daily I used to travel in bus to report to the job and back. So when I went to the factory, I understood how the jewelry industry works, what is the potential it has, and it was a nice thing where you can create something from scratch. So I liked that idea of it. And hence why, and mainly the money was good, to be really honest, and everyone is looking for money when they are starting their business. Obviously that's one of the elements which you have to look into, and it was great. So hence why, and since I was already working there, I had the skill. When I left the job, that was the best option for me to go with.
Did you need to have huge capital in order to start?
Right, normally any jewelry industry needs capital, but I was very shy to ask from my parents or a investor, because I have always believed in organic growth. Where even if you see Ceylon Artisans history, we have never taken a single loan from the bank. This is all organically growth, and from the religion I come from, we are against interest. So anyways, we are not allowed to take loans. So hence why it requires funding, but this brand did not require funding. So because we went online, and to be honest, we just took designs from Google's, we posted online, and that's how people got to know about us. And then obviously, then the profits kept on retaining, and that's how we kept on growing. Yes.
Another thing which I want to ask about is about the creativity of the design. So did you find it difficult to find your craftsmen?
Right. So basically, the place we used to work at the factory, we used to use that factory for manufacturing process. So the craftsman's sourcing was not difficult for us at that time. Now, obviously, we work with few workshops because our order capacity has increased drastically. But at that time, it was not an issue. But in terms of designing, yes, it was very much a concern because we wanted to make sure that we are a little bit different from others. Then only then we can put a mark on in the industry. Hence why, so that time we made sure that whatever designs as we saw on the web page or anything, to tweak a little bit, make it a little bit changes, and then do our range of designs.
All right, and then you'll cater to personalized designs also.
Yes. So example, let's say if there's an engagement ring, wedding rings, if they want something personalized from which is not in our portfolio, definitely we can cater to that, because we have an in-house 3D designer who does entire 3D designing of the design before you confirm your order.
All right, Mustafa.
Yeah.
So thank you for that intake. But before we continue with the discussion, we are going to a short commercial break. We'll be back soon. You're watching Business Best. Welcome back to Business Best, and we were in discussion with Mustafa Abid, who is the founder and managing director at Ceylon Artisans. So Mustafa, I think you give an introduction to what Ceylon Artisans is and how you came into this situation right now and how you grew over the years. Now, talking about this industry, the gem dealing industry is very crucial. When people are going to buy their jewelry, something you mentioned was trust is very important. So what do you all do in order to gain that trust from your customers and have that authenticity?
Right. So basically, there are two factors which customers normally when they walk into our store. The main two concerns which they have, which is the authenticity, obviously what you said right now, and is the price factor, because these are very expensive. So they obviously prefer the best deal when they go to purchase their jewelry. So in terms of authenticity, we don't give our in-house certification. We give them a third-party gemology certification. So normally, then if we give an in-house certification, that's biased towards our brand. So when we give a gemological certification, because there are various gem labs in Sri Lanka, so we send our jewelry to them, let them certify, because they are not biased towards us or the customer. They do their job. We pay them for the certification and they do their job. So we can't even influence them with what they have to put on the certification. And so then we get the certification and we give it to the customer. Even then, if they're not happy, we ask them if they want to take certification from various labs. So then we even accommodate that. If they want 2-3 certificates, we allow them to do that as well. And the other alternative is that if we truly know that this piece at this price they won't find it anywhere in the market, then we allow them to take the piece. Like, you take the piece, you show it anywhere else. If you get it for this price, I'll give you this for free. That's how we get that trust from the customers. And some customers have actually done it. When they have taken this piece somewhere and they've actually tried to replicate the piece, but they were not able to. There are certain designs which are very unique and very hard to replicate. Certain are simple designs which any jewelers can do, to be honest. But that's the main reason where we trust the customers to let them take the piece. And that's why it's a bit shocking, because no one does this in Sri Lanka. No one does. Even actually, as a matter of fact, when we started in Maldives, so that it was all about online. We were boosting our ads there. And there was this one customer who came through and he was like, I want to purchase something, but how can I trust you all? And I was like, okay, that's fine. You don't trust me. I'll send you the jewelries. Once you receive the jewelries, once you're happy, then you do the payment. So the trust works both ways, Susan. If for them to trust me, I have to trust them first. So that's why we trusted them. We sent the jewelry piece and they really liked it and they did the payment. And that's how it exponentially grew, because then that word of mouth happened where this guy did this. It's something different what they did. So that's our secret to grow. That's true.
It's very easy for customers also to trick you all. Has that ever happened?
I mean, 2 or 3 times, yes, we have got caught into the situation. But what we understand is that business, you make profit, you make losses. So we let it go then. Because the problem is that these problems occur overseas. So one of the problems happened in the UK where we had faced a major loss by supplying to a customer. And again, going through law cases and taking legal action is just way expensive and too much of time consuming. So what I believe is that let's save time, let's earn that money and move on, rather having that pressure of going behind people and collecting the money. So that's not something what I like to do.
That's a very tough decision to make there. The risk taking there is at 100%. Anyway, so when coming to the gem dealing here in Sri Lanka and talking about the prices of gold, how can you describe the market at this point? Because the prices are fluctuating. So as an entrepreneur, what do you feel?
Right, okay. So in terms of fine jewelry, so fine jewelry is all about 18 karat diamonds, all high-end materials. In terms of fine jewelry, Sri Lanka is a very good market because we sit on mines. We sit on sapphire mines. The gems are mined in Sri Lanka, so we get the best price in Sri Lanka. Diamonds, debatable, but for color stones, yes, it's a very good market because, example, let's say you purchase a jewelry piece in Sri Lanka for, let's say, 100,000 rupees. The same piece in the European market will cost you 500,000. So you're paying 5 times the price in European market than in Sri Lanka. So in that sense, yes, it's an excellent market. But the only thing is that the quality of craftsmanship which Sri Lankan jewelers needs to actually focus on. That's somewhere it's lacking a bit. But obviously when the time goes by, they will definitely upgrade themselves. Even myself, I have to upgrade it on an everyday basis because technologies are coming. Standards are keep on growing. So that's where I feel that the industry in Sri Lanka industry can grow much more better. Yeah.
Something interesting that I noticed on your social media platforms was you all are putting out videos about awareness about what these gems are, how these are created. So what's your idea behind it?
Right. So my main idea behind this, Susan, is that customers basically are not aware of this particular industry in terms of gemstones. They don't have the extreme amount of knowledge when they go and do their purchase. So it's a bit of unfair thing happening between the buyer and the seller, where the seller knows everything what they are selling, but the buyer does not know 100% about what they are buying. Hence why they get sometimes caught up with high prices. So to bridge that gap, we decided, okay, let's just start this program where we educate our customers on different aspects of the industry, but not promote salon artisans. So if you see my videos properly, I never talk about salon artisans. I give a generalized view about the industry and what they could do if they get caught into this situation. So it's all about educating the customers, and if they want, then they can come to us and purchase it. That's up to them. But we don't push, okay, if you're doing this and you could come to salon artisan and purchase this stuff. We don't do that.
Okay. When it comes to your designing again, has there been any inspiration behind it?
To be honest, no. Basically we like something nice from the net. We know, okay, that this has to be a part of it. So we don't entirely copy, because in this industry, yes, people copy, people don't copy. There's multiple things. But we tweak it a bit and we launch it, which we feel that this is going to work in Sri Lanka or the other countries, because we ship worldwide. We ship to UK, Denmark, Australia, USA, all those places. So whichever countries which we think that this design is going to work, then we just start manufacturing and launch the designs.
So y'all have been so far exporting to these countries, is it?
Yes. So so one of the segments of this business is that we export to multiple countries, and very recently we started our own showroom in Maldives as well, because we during the COVID time we captured a very high percentage market share from Maldives. Hence why a lot of our customers were requesting to have a Maldives showroom. So catering to their request, we decided that we should start our showroom there. So just 2 weeks back, we launched our flagship store in Maldives.
Oh, great. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
So as an entrepreneur, what do you think about the export market? Do you think that market has a higher demand than our local market?
Of course, because see, when you're exporting, you're allowed to charge a little bit premium to those countries, because they're expecting to pay so much for these jewelries. So hence why the markup what you can get from the other countries is much more higher than the Sri Lankan market. But not to disappoint the Sri Lankan customers, because of them only, obviously our day-to-day runnings are happening, and because of the purchases they do, we are able to get through our fixed cost and the variable cost for the month. But the export market is one of the biggest markets which Sri Lankan jewelers and the gemstone dealers can aim at to grow exponentially.
Has it been easy for you to export?
Because of our social media presence, yes, it has been little bit easier compared to having a streamline of going to exhibitions, meeting the buyers and then converting. We don't do that. We have never been to any exhibition until now. all the customers we have got is through our social media presence. And one of the biggest factor in our company is that we make sure that whatever content we create is of highest quality. So all these videos, all the pictures you see is all in-house. We don't outsource to anyone. All the marketing management, advertising management, everything is done in-house, because I believe that I want to control my quality and not let it be on other people's hand, where they can, because it's not their baby, it's my baby. I know how to handle my own baby. Hence why I prefer keeping everything in-house.
Great. So we are reaching the end of our program as well. As my last question, you mentioned that everything is done in-house. So how do you manage to have a good team like that, and what can we expect from Ceylon Artisans in the future?
Right, okay. So that's a very good question, because right now I'm honestly finding it very difficult to manage, because it's just 4 years in business, and even for me as an experience, I'm just 4 years old in terms of handling a company. So definitely I'm at the learning curve. But to support me, I have these two great managers, which is Ibrahim and Yusuf, who are controlling the company when I'm not there because of my international tours. Most of the times I'm not at the office, so they take the whole control over the company and make sure that everything goes smoothly. And top of that, every single staff, whoever we have, are all trustworthy staff. Because I mean, if you're working in a jewelry industry, if you're employed in a jewelry industry, the main thing we look at is that, whether I can trust this person. Even our drivers, even our admin, marketing, everyone has access to every single reports, every single lockers in our showroom and offices, because the amount of trust we have. So it's been 4 years, not one theft we have gone through. We are employees stealing from us. So nothing like that has happened. So I would say I'm quite blessed to have employees and a team like this.
All right, thank you, Mustafa, for that intake. Well, this is all the time we have on the show, and thank you for sharing your ideas with us as well.
Thanks so much.
And that was our episode on Business Best. We'll be back again next week with another product or service that would interest you. Just in case you can watch us on air, you can always rewatch by catching us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Derana English. I'm Suzanne Shanali. Stay safe and have a good night.